RusAme reader, RusAme, and today I will be reading to you from Never Left by Plastic Bag 3207. Now, on to Chapter 11. Russia sighed as he drove towards the park. That was where he and the polar countries had decided to meet. Chips, on the other hand, was completely oblivious to what was about to happen. Instead, he was just enjoying the breeze on his face with his head sticking out the window. Russia smiled, knowing that this was the last time he'd be seeing the dog for a while. Eventually, Russia parked the car and got out. Antarctica and Greenland were waiting by their own car. Russia let the dog jump out of the car, but by now, Chips had figured out that something was different. Russia clipped the leash onto the red leather collar and handed it to Antarctica. The tall man opened the trunk of his car, and Greenland started to move all of the dog stuff into the other's trunk. The white dog started to bark. Antarctica hushed the dog. All of the men knew that Chips was probably not going to like the idea at first, but Russia kept telling himself that it was the right thing to do. After Greenland and Russia finished moving everything out of Russia's car, the tall man turned to the dog. He crouched down so that he was face to face with the white canine. He put his hand behind the dog's ear and started to scratch. "These guys are going to take good care of you, okay? Be good for them. I'm gonna miss you, but it'll be better this way." Those words stung him. It felt like he had been hit by a bus. What did I do wrong? America thought to himself. He felt the leash tug at his collar a little. "Come on, Chips," Antarctica said, trying to get the dog into the car, but he just stood there, watching Russia. "Come on," Antarctica said, grabbing the dog by the collar and pulling him into the back seat of the car. America looked out the back window and watched as Russia became smaller and smaller. He barked and howled. "No, what did I do wrong?" He thought over and over again as Antarctica tried to calm him down. "Shh, you're okay, Chips. Hush, you're okay," he repeated. Eventually, when Russia had been long out of sight, America stopped. He curled up into a tight ball in the back seat. Antarctica looked at him in pity as Greenland drove. "It'll be better this way," repeated over and over in America's mind. Eventually, he managed to fall asleep. America yawned as he lifted his head. He noticed that the car had stopped. Actually, he wasn't even in the car anymore. He looked around, seeing that he was in his dog bed in a living room. He stood up and wandered around the new house. The house seemed to be small but cozy. The only thing upstairs was 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. He wandered back down onto the main floor, where it seemed to be resembling a one-room cabin. He perked his ears as he heard voices coming from outside. He wandered over and pawed at the door. Greenland got out of his chair and smiled, seeing the dog. "Well, good morning, sleepyhead," he said. His voice was kind of scratchy. It wasn't hard to tell that the only one he really ever talked to was Antarctica. The white dog looked around. There was lots of wide open space. Greenland went to sit back down on the lawn chair next to Antarctica. While those two continued their chat, Chips wandered around the house. He noticed a small vegetable garden, a flower bed, and, of course, a bunch of trees off in the distance. He was slightly tempted to go and explore them, but it was starting to get dark. By the time the white dog had returned to Antarctica and Greenland, the stars had started to come out. America looked up and was at awe of how beautiful it was. It reminded him of when he and Russia went to stargaze once. "Mary," Russia whispered into his lover's ear. The other grumbled. "What is it, Risky?" he said, rubbing his eyes. Russia smiled, a blush spread across his face. America was so cute when he was tired. "I want to show you something," he whispered. "You just showed me something the other day. I didn't know you would get horny so fat." Russia was bright red before he cut the other off. No, not like that, you dirty-minded man-child," Russia huffed. "Just follow me. Also, you can stay in your PJs," the tall man said as he walked out of the room. America yawned and rubbed his eyes before following the other. "So, where are we going?" he asked. Russia smiled. "You'll see," he said as he climbed into the car. After about half an hour of driving, America started to get impatient. "Russia, where the heck are you taking me? I was just enjoying sleeping when you had to come and wake." "Look up," Russia said, ignoring what his boyfriend was telling him. America blinked a few times in confusion. "What?" he asked. Russia smiled and pulled over. "Look up," he repeated. America raised a brow, but did as he was told and looked up towards the sky. His mouth immediately dropped open. "Whoa," he said. Russia chuckled a little bit before getting out of the car. America got out too, still just staring at the stars. Russia grabbed a blanket and spread it out on the top of the car before climbing up. Where are you going?" America exclaimed as he watched the taller country climb on top of the car. "Wait for me," he said, trying and failing to pull himself up. Russia chuckled and reached his hand out. "Need some help there, Shorty?" he asked. America rolled his eyes and took his hand as he was pulled on top of the car. "I'll have you know that I'm average height. You're just freakishly tall," he huffed. Russia smiled as he laid down on his back, supporting his head with his hands. America hugged Russia and rested his head on his lover's stomach. "I love you, Risky." "I love you too, Mary." America couldn't help but get a warm feeling inside as he recalled the memory. After a while of listening to Antarctica and Greenland talk, he yawned and had decided that he had had enough. So he pushed the door open to get back inside and walked over to his dog bed, where he collapsed into it, curled up into a little ball. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to join the Discord, which is linked down in the description below. That being said, I hope you have a nice rest of your day, night, or whatever it is for you. Just enjoy your time. And I will see you tomorrow.